We got a battle brewing across Washington and Wall Street when it comes to immigration, particularly on immigration's impact on Silicon Valley and jobs.
America faces a growing demand for skilled workers, particularly in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM field. From 2023 to 2033, the U.S. will need about 1 million more STEM workers, and the number of tech workers is expected to grow at twice the rate as the overall U.S. workforce. To offset that skills gap, the H-1B program, created in 1990, allows U.S. businesses to temporarily hire foreign workers in certain specialized fields. Visas, initially granted for 3 years, are capped at 65,000 annually, plus an additional 20,000 for foreign professionals who graduate with a master's degree or higher from a U.S. college. Some employers, like universities, nonprofits, and research institutions, are exempt from the cap. In 2024, about 400,000 H-1B visa applications were approved. 65% of those were people renewing their visas. Tech companies dominate the program. The top companies with employees holding H-1B visas include Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft.
Employers have an incentive to bring in lower paid, lower experienced workers at the expense of U.S. workers who compete with them, but also there's little that can be done. So the H-1B program right now, you could say, is functioning to bring in cheaper labor.
Companies seeking to recruit lower-cost workers is one of the key issues detractors point to.
The tech industry so dependent upon that high-skilled labor, whereas there's others in this country who feel like immigration, any kind of immigration essentially, is taking away American jobs.
There are constituencies of American workers who are pointing out, I think quite rightly, that there is a massive displacement of American tech workers by younger, cheaper, foreign workers every single year. And that does not allow the labor market to act the way it should by encouraging people to go into these STEM fields.
So what impact does the H-1B visa program have on the nation's workforce? And can the U.S. thrive without foreign workers? In 2024, the tech industry saw more than 150,000 workers from almost 550 companies laid off. As of March this year, around 23,000 people from 81 different tech companies have also been retrenched. But despite those losses, tech companies are still eager to hire foreign workers.
There are a lot of household names like Cisco and Google and Amazon and Apple and so on that bring people in. And what's interesting is what you would expect to find is that if the market got bad and all of a sudden they had to let people go, that they would stop trying to recruit overseas, right? Because the whole idea here is that they can't find people in the United States. But it's interesting that you don't see that connection.
Elon Musk, in a December 2024 post to X, said he preferred to hire Americans, but there is a dire shortage of extremely talented and motivated engineers in America. Foreign-born workers, including green card holders and those on temporary work visas, made up almost a quarter of all STEM workers in the U.S. in 2019, up from 16% in 2000. In fiscal year 2025 alone, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, received 470,000 H-1B registrations, down from the previous year, but roughly in line with 2023. Proponents of the program say recruiting foreign-born workers spurs innovation and creates U.S. jobs, and the strong demand requires a lottery to determine which petitions are processed. The process seemingly protects American workers, but loopholes do exist.
There are absolutely loopholes that allow employers to get around hiring American workers or attempting to hire American workers before they petition for an H-1B worker.
Opponents argue the program is rife with abuse and a source of cheap labor detrimental to U.S. workers.
For the tech companies, it's simply a matter of business. You know, if you give any company the opportunity to hire a worker for $10 as opposed to $20, you know, what possible motivation is there for them to hire the more expensive worker? Companies are not people, they're not moral, they don't have ethics.
Calls have been made to reform the program, including setting a wage floor for H-1B visa holders and abandoning the lottery system altogether.
If you made it $150,000, you probably would eliminate a lot of the displacement of American workers using H-1Bs, because what's often talked about is that this is a visa for the best and the brightest and, you know, the genius It is not that. There are, in a given pool of 100 H-1Bs, there might be one or two who are truly outstanding. There'll be a third who are below average, a third that are average, and maybe a third that are slightly above average. But basically, this is just regular working stiffs with regular degrees from regular universities.
The median salary for a H-1B visa holder working in a computer-related job was $123,000 in 2022. The median salary of an H-1B visa holder working in education was $62,000 that year. The H-1B visa is typically granted for 3 years with the option to renew. There are a few exceptions to allow petitioners to file extensions beyond that time.
I've been in the country since March of 2001. I came here when I was about 19 years old from India to pursue higher education. I ultimately got my degree in economics. I had global sales operations for my company.
Gaurav Saxena is an Indian national, part of a large group of skilled foreign workers on H-1B visas. India dominates H-1B approvals with 72% of visas going to Indian-born workers in 2023.
I'm not sure if people in the US truly understand the level of headache that people who are on H-1s have to go through. Small things which nobody else understands, right? For example, every 3 years, we say we need to get our H-1 renewal. For that renewal, you have to pay renewal fees. You've got to hire a lawyer.
However, his goal, like many, is to be a permanent legal resident. Nearly half of Americans believe skilled foreign workers should be prioritized for legal immigration over other groups, a research survey found.
What immigrants do, they start out new businesses and they work hard.
The approval time frame is anything but timely. H-1B visa holders have a long and uphill battle if they want to gain citizenship. The immigration court process can become filled and delayed with deportation cases, asylum seekers, and the many other visa applications seeking approval. Buy American and Hire American was an executive order aimed at tightening immigration policies to protect American jobs signed by Trump during his previous administration. But he's recently had a pivot in his approach to foreign-born workers.
Trump has sort of fashioned himself in the past, as those comments this summer showed, of wanting to sort of expand this skilled immigration process, of fixing the legal immigration process in addition to stopping illegal immigration.
Trump recently unveiled a fast-track ticket for foreign nationals to gain citizenship, a golden visa with a whopping $5 million price tag. Trump claimed this could potentially be a way for companies with deep pockets to work around the H-1B visa process.
If you're Apple and you want a great executive that's in Taiwan or that's in China, you really can't get them. It's almost impossible. So this is a way to say, okay, you can't get it under the legal, logical program because those programs are so dysfunctional. So just pay the 5 or 10 million.
I get calls from, as an example, companies where they want to hire the number one student at a school. A person comes from India, China, Japan. I want to be able to have that person stay in the country. These companies can go and buy a gold card, and they can use it as a matter of recruitment. At the same time, the company is using that money to pay down debt.
From 2023 to 2033, the U.S. will see an estimated 356,700 computer and information technology jobs opening annually. By 2026, America will have a shortage of 1.2 million engineers.
The American dream is absolutely attainable. If you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to, put in the effort, you will attain it in your own way.